Story title: The Signal Beneath the Ice. Chapter 1: The Frozen Prelude. The Aurora Station Research Facility stood as a lonely outpost against the vast white wilderness of Antarctica. Its metallic structure glinted under the sparse sunlight, a testament to human determination in the harshest place on Earth. For Dr. Elara Finch, the isolation was a familiar friend. Her years spent amongst laboratories and beneath the stars seldom bringing her such peace as the untouched silence of the polar desert. She gazed out across the icy plains, momentarily captivated by the shifting hues of the aurora that painted the sky in ethereal ribbons. Inside the facility, warmth battled the relentless chill. Scientists and researchers hustled about their daily routines, each consumed by their own esoteric pursuits. Elara, head of the consortium, was an expert in astrobiology, a field that seemed strangely at odds with the barren continent. But the ice held secrets, ancient and mysterious, that beckoned her and her team miles beneath its surface. "Elara, got a minute?" The voice belonged to Dr. Kaito Sato, arriving with a stack of printouts and equipment, a sight familiar yet forever accompanied by an air of mystery. Kaito, with his analytical prowess, was key to decoding the layers of time held within their ice cores. "Of course, Kaito," Elara replied, nodding her head towards her cluttered station where she sifted through data and fragments of history. Kaito laid the sheets down, pointing to a section highlighted in yellow. "We've found something unusual." Elara raised an eyebrow. "Unusual how?" "These signals," Kaito tapped the paper, "mathematical sequences intertwined with something else, like a heartbeat. We'll look into it. March on with the core samples. Delve deeper," Elara instructed, though her thoughts lingered on the anomaly. As they resumed their tasks, whispers of the signal threaded through the station. Conversations at mealtimes, soft debates over coffees, quiet musings in the lab. An unspoken agreement tethered them all to the intrigue of discovery. Days drifted into weeks, each with its own small triumphs and fresh frustrations. With each core extracted, anticipation simmered just beneath the surface, a hint of the unknown waiting to reveal itself. Then it happened. Late one evening, as a fierce blizzard battered the station's walls, the signal amplified. Equipment hummed, screens flickered with streams of code, a harmonious rhythm like the pulsing of a forgotten cosmic heart. Elara and Kaito exchanged glances, their unspoken promise echoing in the chaos. Secrets lay beneath, and with them, answers or peril unimaginable. Together, they would uncover the truth buried beneath the ice, an odyssey of science reaching for the dawn in the endless polar night. Story Chapter 2: Beneath and Beyond. The storm raged on, a mammoth roar of nature impossible to ignore. Inside the research facility, the scientists gathered, eyes flicking between jittery monitors and the snow-laden specter beyond the frosted windows. The signal thrummed persistently, a relentless rhythm that engulfed Aurora Station, casting a surreal atmosphere within its metal confines. Elara stood before the array of technology, her heart mirroring the pulses from the depths. Kaito's fingers danced across the keyboard, the hum of machinery a chorus to their intellectual symphony. "This can't just be natural interference," Kaito breathed, his face illuminated by flickering screens, troubled yet fascinated. "The sequence is too precise." "If it's not geological, then what?" murmured Dr. Beatrice Kim, a geophysicist with an eye for detail and a mind sharp as Antarctic ice. Elara drew in a breath, focusing on the coding trails before her. "Signals like this, they don't occur naturally. They carry intent." "Intent?" Beatrice repeated, the room's temperature feeling colder than moments before despite central heating. "From what or whom?" Kaito hesitated, a silence stretched, heavy with unvoiced possibilities. "I think," he began, and then faltered, a rarity. "I think we're dealing with something ancient." Elara nodded slowly, feeling the truth of it settle like the weight of the ice above them. "Then we need to decipher this before it's beyond our control. Work with me, Kaito. We must pinpoint where it emanates and what it's trying to say." "But what if it's not just saying, Elara?" Beatrice questioned, leaning towards the screen, eyes narrowed. "What if it's calling?" The notion left the room in a hush, a ripple of apprehension spreading across the faces of gathered scientists. "Then," Elara finally answered, calm yet resolute, "we had better respond wisely." With renewed determination, the team pored over the data, parsing every nuance, every shift in frequency. Elara and Kaito worked tirelessly, the world outside reduced to blips of static on their consciousness, as the storm raged on and the walls of the station seemed to tighten around them with each passing hour. Chapter 3: The Unseen Mind. The days blurred into nights filled with murmured dreams and the low hum of technology. The signal, always present, became a backdrop to their thoughts, like a distant drum beating time to an alien rhythm. Each member of the team felt its pull, a gentle yet unnerving coaxing that led to shared looks and silent questions that none dared voice. Story: Elara found herself in her quarters one night, the oppressive silence only shattered by the subconscious echoes of the signal running through her mind. She saw patterns in the ceiling, fractals spinning in the darkness, their geometric perfection far from comforting. Sleep was elusive, its grasp slipping away just as she reached for deeper rest. Kaito, too, was drawn under the signal's spell. His dreams were a tapestry of mathematical sequences, weaving stories that carried meaning just beyond his understanding. His mind was a vast canvas tinged with hues of distant galaxies and mysteries untold by time. Yet, as the days moved forward in relentless pursuit, an unsettling feeling began to creep amongst the team. It began with small things: misplaced tools, whispers caught just out of earshot, and shadows that seemed to linger too long. An undercurrent of mistrust grew among them, subtle cracks in the foundation of camaraderie they had built. The signal, once a curiosity, now seemed an ever-present entity, a phantom lurking just beyond the reach of light and reason. It entranced them, pulling each scientist into its enigmatic web, entwining their thoughts with visions that blurred reality with the dreams of some ancient consciousness. It was Dr. Miguel Alvarez, a stoic climatologist, who broke the silence at last. His voice, though steady, carried the weight of their shared strain. Has anyone felt altered? As if the station, the signal, they're whispering things, showing things that shouldn't be. A chorus of muted agreements followed, hesitant nods acknowledging Miguel's courage to voice their collective fear. Dr. Ellen Green, an expert in environmental systems, frowned deeply. Skepticism is in our nature, yet even I admit something's off. It's like being caught up in someone else's dream. Elara's gaze swept over her team, her resolve stealing in the wake of their fear. She forced a smile, seeking to reassure them and herself. We're scientists, investigators of truth. Let this push us harder to decode what we don't yet understand. But inside, doubt gnawed at her. Elara felt the weight of the unknown pressing harder with each heartbeat, the pulse of the signal intertwined with her own. Chapter 4: Revelations and Realizations. As tensions flared and tempers frayed, the blizzard outside finally relented, exposing the old world of ice once more, timeless and untouched. But within the station, the team felt changed, the signal having reached deep into the fabric of their beings. The next few days required every ounce of focus they could muster. With renewed vigor, and perhaps a touch of desperation, Elara and Kaito worked to unravel the alien message held in the signal's undulating waves. Kaito, bathed in the glow of monitors, suddenly froze, eyes widening as he cross-checked the latest deciphered segment. "Elara, come see this," he breathed, beckoning her over. "I think we've found a warning." Story together, they stared at the screen, the code now a message in fragments. Scenes unfolded in Elara's mind's eye, visions transmitted across light years and centuries. The signal carried stories of a civilization long perished, destroyed by a force known as the Sleeper. "It's a warning," Elara whispered, piecing together the implications. "The Sleeper, it devastated their world, so they bound it here, deep beneath the ice." Kaito nodded, his usual stoicism cracked by revelation-induced fear. "And now it stirs again." The revelation hung heavy between them, the kind of discovery that shifted paradigms yet left more questions than answers. How could they hope to contain it, to protect their world against this unimaginable threat? "We can't do this alone," Elara resolved, breaking the silence. "We need help, sending out a message, something clearer, something to alert those beyond our reach." Kaito rubbed his temples, fatigue etched upon him, yet determination flickered in his eyes. "But first, we need to ensure its influence doesn't spread beyond these walls." As the team gathered, Elara outlined what they now knew: the alien signal, the presence it warned against, the direct consequences if they failed to act. The atmosphere turned somber, an understanding settling in that their small group now bore the weight of a history not their own, yet deeply intertwined with humanity's fate. Chapter 5. The Icy Gauntlet. The decision was made. Containment was the priority. With only their limited resources and expertise, they laid plans to suppress the signal, to quiet the stirring of the sleeper before it could push beyond the icy confines it had been trapped in for millennia. While Kaito and Elara focused on strengthening the signal dampeners they'd devised, the rest of the team worked around the clock to keep the station functional and prepare for the worst. It was a race against time, one fraught with peril, both physical and mental. Miguel and Ellen focused on reinforcing the communication systems to send a distress call to the wider world. As effective as they were, the low visibility and erratic conditions of their environment tested their every effort. The blizzard had weakened the antenna, and their signals were at risk of dying amidst the vast Antarctic silence. As the team toiled, the signal beat on, a relentless reminder of the stakes at play. Elara felt its rhythm pulse in her very bones, a terrifying yet strangely fascinating tether to an intelligence long extinct, or perhaps merely asleep. It beckoned even in her resistance, tempting with knowledge no human mind had ever touched. But with fascination came danger. As the days wore on, the sleepless nights and the cloying atmosphere took a heavier toll on the team. Strange occurrences became more frequent. Items disappeared only to reappear in peculiar places, and shadows moved in ways that defied logic. Nightmares, too, became companions, shared over early morning coffee in uneasy silences. Story Beatrice, previously steadfast, succumbed one evening to the signal's whispers. She was found wandering the corridors, murmuring in languages unknown, her eyes glazed as she traced symbols on frost-covered windows. It took several of her colleagues to calm her, their concern now mingling with a palpable fear of what lay within and beneath. Chapter 6. The Final Descent. Realizing their barricade against the cosmic tide was weakening, Elara and Kaito knew action must be swift and decisive. They gathered the team, each member weary yet resolute, and outlined their final measures, a desperate plan to amplify their dampeners by rerouting power from non-essential systems. "Kaito, will it hold?" Elara asked, surveying the fraught visages of those with her. "It has to," he replied, conviction born from necessity. "We'll reroute power from the thermal systems. The cold will bite, but for now it's our best chance." Ellen nodded, understanding the implications. "Everyone, layer up. We need to survive the chill until we can restore full operations." With adrenaline as their ally and necessity as their guide, they set about their task. A tension electric in its intensity filled the station as connections were adjusted and systems finely tuned under Kaito's precise direction. Each moment felt elongated, caught in the balance as they teetered between failure and salvation. As the adjustments were finalized and the dampeners roared to life with a deep, resonant hum, a silence fell, a stilled breath in the heart of chaos. The signal's eerie dance, ever present, began to fade, its grasp on their minds weakening. Elara closed her eyes, silently willing it to be enough, clinging to hope as the station cooled around them. The snow-white surroundings cloaked them further in a tranquil embrace, like the world itself was holding its breath. Then came the pulse, a singular, powerful beat that shook the station and hearts alike. The sleeper knew they were there, its presence looming vast and unfathomable, but the dampeners held. Chapter 7. Return to the light. In the aftermath of that trembling pulse, the harsh interior lights clicked back to life, flooding the rooms with sudden warmth and clarity, a stark contrast to the moments before. The station's regular hum began to fill the void left by the subdued signal, creating a new rhythm and cycle. Exhaustion swept over Elara, relief mingling with it as she met Kaito's gaze. There was something in the shared understanding that only they had seen the brink and dared step back. With systems stabilized, communications thrummed back to life, dispatching the urgent SOS they had prepared. The storm had passed, and with it the oppressive isolation, as hopeful signals reached back across the frozen expanses. Story. It was Miguel who finally spoke up, breaking the reflective silence. "We might have cauterized this wound," he said carefully, "but we've only just begun to understand the scars left behind." Elara nodded, her mind already spinning with what they had learned and what they still had to discover Each core sample, every decoded piece of the signal, held centuries of knowledge and warned of the forces lying dormant beyond comprehension. It was an urgent reminder that the universe was far vaster, and its history more intricate than humanity had yet imagined. With the signal contained for the moment, the team settled into a new routine, one tempered by the 100 minor triumphs they'd fought for. Outside, fresh snow covered the facility, a blank slate ready to echo their future discoveries. Epilogue: Echoes of the Past. In the weeks that followed, contact with the mainland was re-established, and the tale of the sleeper spread, igniting both fear and fascination in equal measure across the scientific community. Experts arrived to assess and aid, the facility bustling with a flurry of activity and curiosity. Throughout it all, Elara and her team stayed vigilant, ensuring the anomaly was restrained until a global solution could be devised. Human resilience had once more faced the edges of the unknown, their understanding teetering on the brink of something vast and incomprehensible. Yet despite the challenges, Elara felt a profound sense of gratitude to her team, for their unwavering courage in facing the unthinkable, and to the silent ice which concealed its secrets for so long. Within its chilly depths lay not just the shadows of extraterrestrial history, but a pulsing rhythm of life and discovery that spanned across eons. The journey had not only tested their endurance and bravery against the great unknown, but had also revealed their profound capacity for connection, resilience, and hope. As they prepared to pass on their mantle to those who would follow, Elara gazed once more at the horizon. The auroras a dance of beauty in the cold, endless sky, a symbol of the signala and of the beacon of knowledge yet to come.